So example number 3, I'm going to jump down to the question. It says, what is the interest rate? So that lets me know that I do not know what R is. So R is going to be what I'm calculating. So that means I should be able to know what everything else is. So they talk about T-bills. They use them to finance public debt. If you buy 180-day, well, that's pretty obvious that that's time. Now, in your book, it does talk about, because we're doing 180 days, right? So that means I need to know how many days there are in a year. Well, I know that you guys know that there are 365 days in a year, but in your book, it does talk about that. Of course, it's not going to load. It talks about in your book that they don't always use 365. They use the number 360 because they call that a banker's year. It also says in your book that they will tell you when they're going to be using that information. Why am I on 3.3? Let's see where it tells me that. I'm gonna pause it till I find it. Okay, it's right here on page 129. It says they often use days rather than months or years. In this section, we will divide by 360. It's called a banker's year. In other sections, you will use 365, but it says right here that the choice will always be clearly stated. So you don't have to worry about it. It should tell you. So here they told us to use 360 as a year. So 360, and then because 180 divided by 360 is 1/2, I am going to reduce it because it seems like 1/2 is easier to use. Has a maturity value of $10,000. That's my future value. That's what I'm going to end up with. So that's my amount. And then $9,828 is what my principal is. It's my initial value, $9,828.74. Now, again, simply because it's easier to solve for R with this problem, I'm going to use this one. Okay, it's the first problem, the principal plus the interest. Without that P factored out, it just is simpler. Like I said, it's algebraically easier to get to R because R is going to be my missing value. So my amount is $10,000. My principal is $9,828.74. $9,828.74 times the 1/2. So P, my R, I don't know it, so that's why I'm sticking it in. So this is P times T times R. And just in case you didn't know it, yes, it's okay to rearrange your variables. It doesn't matter what order you multiply numbers in, you get the same answer. So there's my P, there's my time, there's my R. I'm just going to do some simple math, subtract this number from both sides. I'm going to multiply those two, and then I'm going to divide by my coefficient. Okay, so I did a little of the math that I subtracted 9828.74 from this side and from this side. 10,000 minus 9,828 gives me $171.26. I multiplied these two numbers together, and that's where I got the 4914.37 times R. So why do I undo multiplication? I'm going to divide both sides of my equation by $4,914.37. So I'm going to take this number and divide it by this number. And it says express your answer as a percentage correct to 3 decimal places. So if I have a percent and then I have 3 decimal places after that, when I do my division right here, when I get these numbers, how many decimal places do I need? I need 5, because this decimal here is going to move 2 places. That's going to give me my my whole part of my percentage, and then I need 3 decimal places after that. So I need to round it to 5 decimal places. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I look at the 6th number right here. The 6th number is 8. And since that 6th number is an 8, I'm going to round that 4 up to a 5. So I'm going to write down those numbers right there, except I'm going to change that 4 to a 5. So 0, 3, 4, 8, 5. So I'm going to write down 0.03485, and then move that decimal 2 places. That's 3.485%. That's my interest rate.